Good morning and happy Valentine's Day. It is me, Kimberly A. Martin, sitting in Stephen A.'s seat because you know why? Today's a special day, and he thinks that I can't do the cold open, so I have another thing coming for him. Hello, welcome everybody. We got Jay. Oh, look who decided to show up to work. Hello, Mr. Miami. Hello, how are you?
It's Valentine's Day, and I wanted to start the show off by giving it to the lovely lady because there's three ugly dudes on the air, you know what I'm saying, with her, to start off the show. So I figured we'd let the American public get a better visual than what me, Joe, or Jay was going to provide. But then she got to come out all snazzy. Hello, happy Valentine's Day. Oh, Lord have mercy. First takes in the house. Let's roll.
All right, welcome to First Take. My name is Joe Fortenbaugh in for Molly. We have Stephen A. here, as you have no doubt already seen. Jason McCourty, Kimberly Martin, Kendrick Perkins, and Brian Windhorst are going to join us shortly. Stephen A., your boy, it's his first time in the chair hosting. Any advice for me?
Uh-oh. Well, I don't just have advice. I have rules, okay?
Here we go.
And I want everybody in America to see the rules. Put them right up there on the screen, please, because I need to see them. Number one,
Joe.
you will address me today as Mr. Smith, rookie, okay, rookie? Joe Fortenbaugh, you are a rookie hosting First Take. You will address me as Mr. Smith. Point number two. Don't smile at everything. You're always smiling no matter what. Sometimes you give people advice and it causes them to lose money, not make money. That's not something to smile about. You got to change your expression, show a little versatility. Number three, feel free to cut off everybody because you're the host. Cut off everybody except me. Except me. All right? I'm the only person you don't get to cut off. And last but not least, everything ain't a bet, Joe Fortenbaugh. Everything ain't a bet. Remember that when asking questions. Everything is not a bet. You may continue.
First of all, Mr. Smith, what is this?
Wait, why are you calling me
Russia?
Mr. Smith? Don't
I'm going to follow the rules. I'm going to follow the rules.
on.
But what is this, Stalin's Russia? Is that what we're operating under? And if you want
Something
things
like
to
that.
not be a bet, you should have listened to the advice last week that Philadelphia was going to blow out Kansas City. You spit in my face on that one.
I did pick them to win, and I picked Jalen Hurts to be MVP. I mean, that's pretty damn close. You didn't bring that up. But we shall move on. We shall move on.
All right, we shall move on. Aaron Rodgers' time in New York is officially over. We learned that yesterday, that the Jets have told Rodgers they are planning to go in a different direction at quarterback. Now we can only speculate about what the future holds for the all-time great signal caller and whether he'll be joining a new franchise. Oh, Duncan had this warning for any team seeking Rodgers' services yesterday on this show, specifically the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's not just about whether he can still contribute to a team. It's all the other stuff that comes along with him. It's the media appearances. It's the things that come out of his mouth. It's the ayahuasca trips. It's that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying to you, Harry, Stephen A., is who is looking at what they saw on the Jets last year and going, you know what? I will take a flyer. I'll take a gamble and deal with all of the circus that comes with Aaron Rodgers because what I'm seeing on the field, I know is going to help me that much.
All right, Mr. Smith, the tee box is yours. Do you believe that Aaron Rodgers would be a culture killer in Pittsburgh?
I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that for 1 second for one reason and one reason only. Mike Tomlin. There's nobody that's going to come into Pittsburgh and be a culture killer. I don't believe that for 1 second, especially now in the case of a quarterback the likes of Aaron Rodgers. We have to understand that when we look at Aaron Rodgers, and obviously Jay played in the NFL. Kimberly has been covering the NFL exceptionally well for more than a decade, and we know they know the inside. I'm not trying to sit up here and act like Aaron Rodgers is devoid of mistakes or mea culpas or he's never made any mistakes or anything. That's not where I'm going. But we have to understand this is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. Before Patrick Mahomes came along, there was an argument that could be made that as a talent, Aaron Rodgers was the greatest quarterback we had ever seen. Okay, he's going into the Hall of Fame. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been to multiple conference championship games. He's one of the more accurate passers in the history of the National Football League. He doesn't turn the ball over often. He makes smart decisions and what have you. The issues that we have had with him primarily have been off the field, not on the field, not inside the locker room. He departed Green Bay. Obviously, they had Jordan Love, in the bullpen, and Matt LaFleur comes up in there, and he worked with Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years before they move on from that. We know some of the friction he had with Green Bay management because he couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to retire, whether he wanted to move on, et cetera, et cetera. He comes to New York. He tears his Achilles the fourth play of the game. On a Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. I was right there in East Rutherford, New Jersey, okay? And he's out for the whole year. So last year was the first season, really, with the New York Jets, and obviously they were a flagrant disappointment. Even with a flagrant disappointment, even with it clearly being a down year for him, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, nearly 4,000 yards passing. And now, check this out, y'all. What's the comparison? Ben Roethlisberger should have retired 2 years earlier than he did. Mitchell Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett. I mean, y'all kidding me? And then you got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson there. I'm like, it's not like Aaron Rodgers is succeeding Tom Brady or somebody. Listen to the names that I threw out there. And so if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you have an opportunity to get Aaron Rodgers and Pickens is still there and Warren and Najee Harris are still there and your defense, because you're smart enough to get T.J. Watt signed, is still the defense that we know the Pittsburgh Steelers to be, then what we projected and speculated about the New York Jets clearly would exist with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I definitely think it's something that they should strongly consider, and I'm not worried about him being some kind of culture killer at all. Mike Tomlin is running that show. I'm not worried about that.
Steven, I agree with you because in Pittsburgh there's one voice, and it's Mike Tomlin. So Aaron Rodgers is not going to be able to come in and usurp all the power, all the attention, because no matter who they bring into that locker room, you understand that you sit in that, as a media person, you sit and you wait for Mike Tomlin to address you and say, good afternoon, let's get it going. That's the guy you pay attention to. However, here's where I think it gets dicey, because Mike Tomlin is somebody who was able to keep the AB drama, the Antonio Brown drama, the Le'Veon Bell drama, the Big Ben drama. Like he was able to close ranks around that, and we didn't find out until years later about some of that stuff. But where it gets tricky is Mike Tomlin introduces Aaron Rodgers into this mix. That Steelers roster, that offense, I would argue the Jets have a better offense. Like they have better pieces. When you look at Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams, he had Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, he had all of these guys, and still he couldn't even win 10 games in 2 years with this team, right? When I look at the Steelers, he'd be playing behind not the greatest offensive line and less weapons. Like George Pickens is a dog. I get that. But that part of the thing that handcuffed Russell and Justin was sort of like you got the moonballs to George Pickens, and that's really the offense. They didn't have a strong running game in Pittsburgh. So I think Mike Tomlin, a guy who internally they love, but within Pittsburgh for years, the fan base has been looking at him. A lot of people at the fan base have said, we either get to the playoffs and get bounced in the first round or we don't make the playoffs at all. The non-winning seasons, that streak, it doesn't mean anything because what is the standard? I think Aaron Rodgers, because of the diminished play, he has a chance to completely put Mike Tomlin just in the crosshairs of a lot of people. But when I look at the Steelers, I feel like, what are their options?
Yeah.